Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie.
Today we're doing something I've been wanting to do for years.
A Mountain Tap 5-Sip Friday.
Today we're trying something a little bit different. We're going to earn our whiskey with a hike up this mountain.
So we're about 1.3 in. We did 1,000 feet of elevation already. That's Mount Bachelor. The clouds are starting to part. I'm hoping by the time we get to the top, they'll all part, and then you can see all the beautiful mountains of Central Oregon. Well, we made it to the top, just over 2 miles, 1,400 feet elevation. It was a beautiful hike.
A little windy, and for those of you that have been watching us going, geez, they just got out of stocking caps and sweatshirts like 3 weeks ago.
Back in them.
What do you know? Well, and there's more surprises here because now we get to do our whiskey tasting, and guess who forgot to bring tasting glasses?
I don't think we're going to be doing a lot of nosing out of this bottle, but we're going to give it a shot.
Welcome to the Bourbon Van, where every single thing we do is a bit of a travesty. All right, on to today's sample, which was gifted to us ever so generously by YouTube channel Pages and Pours. Thank you so much, Robert or Barter or however you like to call him. He's got a couple of nicknames, but thank you, Robert, from Pages and Pours. We're going to get into this one right now. If it's your first time joining us for a 5-Sip Friday,
we're going to try to take 5 sips.
We're going to try to nose it. Then I just realized we can't really nose it. We'll nose the glass. We'll take 5 sips. We will try to figure out what the heck we're drinking. We'll say whether or not we like it. And ultimately, it will be revealed. Here's the cork pop.
And I'm going to, it's beautiful. And I'm going to say, if we get anywhere close, it's going to be amazing.
It smells fruity.
Okay. This is so funny.
I think we're doing great.
Actually, it smells like apple cider. I literally thought we weren't going to get any notes out of this, but it's very appley, little oaky. Ooh, it smells like it's going to be delicious.
Go ahead and take a sip.
All right, here
sip
we go.
number 1.
This is so funny.
Let's start the weekend.
Ooh, I like this one. Oh wow, it is fruity.
I took too big of a sip.
I know we're going to have to be really judicious.
That's going to be like a 3 sip. Ooh. Well, that's not American.
I was just thinking it could be one of those scotches that we had from like Scotch Whiskey Society, or
maybe.
Just because the notes. But I got like some apricot, a little bit of pineapple. It is citrusy and delicious.
Well, I'm not used to drinking out of a vessel of this shape, and I accidentally drank way too much, and it didn't hit my palate as being overly proofed. So right off the bat, I'm thinking maybe a low-proof Scotch or something like that. But aside from the tobacco rush that came flooding across my tongue because I had way too much of it, I didn't get much else aside from a little bit more fruit. So go ahead, let's get on to sip number 2.
Mine was a baby sip too, so I feel like I need to redeem myself.
Yeah, you could catch up.
I'm just going over here. Man, it does have like almost like a rind to it too. This is really, I feel like this is really, that apricot, it's got like an orange rind. I do think it's like a barbecue pineapple note to it.
Yeah, but it's not like super fresh fruit. It's a little bit musty.
Yep.
It's a little almost cloying, and I wouldn't call this dry at all. And a lot of times on something that I think is Scotch, I recognize a lot of dryness from the oak. Not getting that here. If anything, there's more of a bourbon type finish here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know why I think this is a Scotch. It just, my initial taste was like, I think this is a Scotch. There's no peatiness to it. There's rarely even...
Gentle peat, I think.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that's because you took that big sip. Here I go for number 3.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not really getting smoke on it, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. Now you're convincing me.
Sorry.
No.
Or perhaps you're welcome.
Yeah. It's crisp out. I love drinking this time. Of course, we're outside. You know how I like drinking outside. But it is a cool 42 degrees up here right now.
It might be less. The sun was supposed to come out. We're in the mountains, ever-changing weather. Who knows?
We're going to try to hold out for a little bit longer because the sun's supposed to come out in the next hour, and we really want you to see these mountains.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe this is the only one you get today. Well, I didn't say anything about sip 3. Did you?
More of the same.
It is, I know.
My hands are starting to get cold, so I'm trying to keep the ball rolling here.
Sometimes, maybe next season we'll have to do like 3 sips, because I feel like our last 2 sips we always say the same thing.
Well, maybe we're getting more efficient at tasting. Is that a possibility? Maybe.
Maybe. I'm gonna think about proof on this one. I almost got like a note of banana, like a little, when bananas start to, not decompose, but when they get mushy.
Little mushy banana,
Yeah,
yeah,
mushy banana there.
You're right with the types of fruits that you're calling out, the apricot, the banana, the pineapple. They're not fresh, they're a little bit overripe.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
We have a lot left, more than I thought we
I
did.
know, I actually should probably drink out of a vessel like this more often, because I definitely take smaller sips. Is this number 5?
I think it's sip 5, yeah. This is gonna be the new Julie pour out of a bottle.
It doesn't do much for the nosing. There's a hint of floral there now. A little, I want to say like a little charred, like a little bark.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's some bite on the back end of this.
And my tongue just got really dry. I took a healthier sip because we have basically half of that left.
The bigger sips make your tongue drier. That is true. Interesting. Well, I've got some ideas.
Me too.
But I'm very curious to hear what you think of this whiskey.
So I have no idea if Pages and Pours is part of the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. I think I said that right. But it reminds me of some of those that we've had in the past, and that's what I'm going to go with because I don't have a better answer. The proof, really, I have no idea. I could say it's like 86 proof.
Yeah. Is that what you're going to go with?
I think so.
Because you were talking like you were going to go high proof.
Well, in my head, I'm like, it can't be 86. Let's go 94 or something. But I think I'm just going to go 86. It is a little bit warm now that I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's...
It's moderately warm.
Let me think on the proof. You go, and then I'm going to circle back.
All right. So I'm going to say that this reminds me a lot of some of the Glenmorangie type whiskeys. Some of there's a bunch of them that start with the letter G that are sort of, I don't want to say lower tier, but they're maybe lower excitement.
Okay.
They're sort of easy drinking, a little peat, a little fruit, that sort of thing. So I do think that this is a Scotch. You stole my proof guess because when I taste something like this, I think either 86 or 92. It seems like every time it falls on one of those two proof points. If you're sticking with 86, are you sticking with 86?
Well, it is a little, do you think it's coming on a little bit warm?
You tell me what you think.
I don't really care. I'll take either one. Because if you take 86, I'll go 92 or 94, and if you go vice versa.
Okay, so we're hedging our bets, but I think it's 86 personally.
Okay.
And so I would say 86 proof, Glen something or other. I'm trying to think of the I was going to say neighborhoods of Scotland, but the regions of Scotland, Highlands, Speyside, Campbelltown. I don't know. I guess I'll go Highland, but it's not real smoky. Let's say Highland. I'm going to say it's Glen something or other, and I'm going to say it's 86 proof. And I'm going to say, by the way, scale of 1 to 5, I'm going to give it a 3. That's pretty good for me for Scotch. I'm learning to like Scotch. I'm not a Scotch head just yet.
Yeah.
And so,
if all Scotch tasted as fruity as this, I could easily get into Scotch. Because sometimes you just get just smacked in the face, you know?
Yeah, I would say this is a whiskey that I'd be happy to try at a bar and have a pour of or have it shared with me. It's not something I would probably run out and buy a bottle of, but I did enjoy that sip.
I enjoyed it as well. Let's find out what it is.
Here we go. Thank you so much, Barter Hordes, or Robert from Pages and Pours, whatever you call him. He's a great dude. And this is our 3rd sample, I believe, from him. We've had a peated Irish whiskey from him. We had a Lafroig, extremely peaty, smoky sample. And this will be sample number 3. He's introducing us to some brand new flavors.
So I'm going to let Phil read all the details, but this is a Glenfiddich 14 Bourbon Barrel Reserve Single Malt Scotch Whiskey Speyside. Oh. That's the Speyside region.
We didn't say single malt. I probably would have said single malt.
That's all right. Oh, and it's 86 proof. I'm going to take it too.
All right, so that's a double win. Let's see, about $53 he says it would cost. Speyside I mentioned but didn't go with. Bourbon Barrel Reserve, I did say the finish reminded me a little bit of bourbon, not traditional Scotch. Aged 14 years in typical ex-bourbon casks and then finished in a new heavily charred American oak barrel from Louisville's Kelvin Cooperage. Well, we do love Kelvin Cooperage.
Yeah.
We definitely like whiskey generally that's been aged in Kelvin barrels.
I think we did fairly well. We nailed the proof, 86.
We nailed that it was Scotch, fantastic.
Yep.
And we didn't go with an age. It didn't even occur to me. In my first sip, I was thinking Oban, and the one I'm most familiar with is Oban 14. So I'm not going to take credit for it, but I'm going to say that I was nosing around the right neighborhood there. Well, there you go. Thank you so much, Barter Hordes. We have a little left for the road. That's nice.
That never happens.
And we're about to hike back down this mountain, another 2 miles and a whole lot of elevation loss. Thank you so much for joining us and from wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You know what they say about summits?
What?
It's all downhill from here.